Hi everyone, today I will be showing you how to take a Google slideshow and add some interactive options to it. So what you would do is you would open up your slideshow that you've already created, and in order for students to be able to write on the slides or interact with the slides, you would have to go up to the word add-ons, click on the word Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, and then go to Open Pear Deck add-on. Okay, so once you've added that toolbar over to the right, you can see we have these 6 little circles here that we will use in this video. I would say start off by using these when you start with Pear Deck, and then when you start to get used to it, you can go into our template library to try to maybe make some cuter slides or improve the way you've done your slides, okay? So here we go. On the first slide, on the next slide, I would like for students to be able to draw on their slide. So if I click on this map, I'm going to ask the students to circle Africa. In order for them to draw on this slide, I have to click on the button that says Draw. And now you'll see a gray bar go across the bottom of the slide, and that tells me that Pear Deck has added that on for me. Okay, slide 3 says, on the next slide, I would like for students to drag a draggable dot to the correct answer. So on this slide, students are asked to place the red dot on Africa. Well, I don't see a red dot yet, so I have to add that dot. And in order to do that, you have to click on the little button that says Draggable. You're going to see here that you have options to change the color of that dot, or if you don't like the dot and you want to make it a different shape, you can click here. And if the dot is not large enough, you can come over here and you can make it larger. Okay, then I'll hit Update Slide, and then you'll see that gray toolbar, that gray little bar go on the very bottom of the slide that tells me it's done its job. The next slide, I want to be able to add a multiple choice question. So on this slide, I have how many continents are there? So I'm going to click on multiple choice. So I'm going to write option A for the first one, option B for the second one, option C for the next one. Then I will hit Update Slide. Okay, you can see over here to the side, there's the gray bar, so it did its work. On the next slide, I want a written text response. So here this question says, what color is the continent of Africa? For students to be able to type that answer, I'm going to click on the button that says text. And then I can see over here to the side, it did add that. There's the gray bar. On the next slide, I want a numeric response. Here's my slide. How many continents are there? Hopefully they get it right. The number's right there. Let's click on the word, the circle that says number. And on the very last slide, I would like for students to be able to go directly to a website. I have a YouTube video for them to watch. So they're going to go to a video about Africa. Now, the way you do this is you have to go to the video. I've already chosen my video here. I will click the word share. So it's not that easy where you can just copy the link that's here. You have to click on embed. And you want to grab the words starting with HTTPS, and you want to go to right to the end, right before that quotation mark. And then I'll hit copy. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Sorry, let me do that again. I'm going to probably do Control C if it lets me. Okay, I've got it highlighted. I'm going to do Control C. Now I'll X out. I'll come back to my Pear Deck. Since I want them to visit that website, I'll click on www, and I'll do Control V to paste in that link. And you can see the videos right behind here, right? So that's showing us that we correctly uploaded it. We're going to hit Update Slide. And now we have our gray bar. Okay, so we're done creating our presentation. What you do now is you go back up to slide 1, and you need to start the lesson. So we're going to click on the green button that says Start Lesson. You'll see you have two options. You can do this as a student-paced activity where you go back in later to look at their responses, or you can do instructor-paced activity. I prefer to do instructor-paced activity so I can use this as my guided notes during the lesson. So I'm going to click on that. And it does tell the students to go to joinpd.com. I prefer to give the students a link and add it into the Google Classroom. So I'm going to click on Give Students a Link. It's copied the link. Now what I'll do is I'll go into my Google Classroom and I will create an assignment. I'm going to upload that link. I'm going to write Tuesday assignment. And then I'll hit Assign. And then you can see it's right there. Okay, immediately after you have done that, let me just close my video. After you have posted that assignment, you need to go into peardeck.com. Okay, so you're going to go to, let me close out of here. I don't need this open right now. You're going to open up a new tab and go to peardeck.com, and you're going to log in with your teacher Google account. I just X this out. And you'll see at the very, very top, it says today at 7:10 a.m. I have an unnamed session. I'm going to click on the three dots here, over here, and I'm going to click on Name this session. And I'm going to title it PD Day November 2. Rename. So the reason why you want to name that session is because you will most likely be doing this lesson with more than one class. So what I usually like to do there is put the date. For example, if it was tomorrow, 11-3, A period. And then I would have to, again, go back into my assignment, hit Start Lesson all over again to do the same process for B period. So you do want to have a different link for each class so that you only see those students' names on the work when you're looking at it. If you don't do that, you're going to end up with your whole team's list of names, and that's going to be really difficult. So what I do is I do that for each class. Okay, now I'm in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit to show you. Actually, let me go back in real quick. I'm going to show you what I put on the smartboard, and I'm going to show you what I put on my Chromebook. So the first thing I do is I go over to my computer, and I open up the assignment as a student, as if I were the student. Okay, hopefully they're feeling great today. And now what I do with this is I take this tab and I slide it over so it's on the smartboard. Okay, let me clean up this now. So now I'm going to close that Google Classroom. I'm going to close my original activity. So the first tab here is on the smartboard. I'm walking through it with the students as if I were a student. On my Chromebook, you would need to log into peardeck.com, just as we did before. Log in with your Google account, go to your sessions, find your assignment, and then click on this middle icon right here. Okay, so now on your Chromebook, you have this open. You are able to control what the students see. If I wanted students to look at slide 3, I could click on slide 3. That would be the only slide they'd be able to look at. So what I usually do is I start with slide 1. I discuss the directions up on the board. I tell them on the next slide, I want you to draw on the slide. And then I would, on my Chromebook, select slide 2. Students on their end will see this. This says Circle Africa. They can choose a color. You can also choose the thickness of your pen. Probably want to go thinner here. And then Circle Africa. Look like that, right? Okay, on the teacher side, this is what you will see. You'll see that I circled the yellow continent, Africa. If there were other students, you would be able to scroll through and see their responses. And then if they didn't have the yellow continent circled, you'd be able to have a conversation with those students. All right, let's say that we're all set and we've discussed this, and on my Chromebook, I would select the next slide. I'll just go straight to slide 4, okay? So now on each student's Chromebook and up on the smart board, I will see this question. Place the red dot on Africa. Students can drag the dot onto Africa. On your side, the teacher side, you'll see that here's my dot. If I hover over it, you can see who's put it in the correct spot. If I had a whole bunch of dots on here, well, you would notice if I had chosen North America, right? You would look here on the map and say, uh-oh, Kim's having problems today. Let me go have a conversation with her. Okay, let's go on to the next type of question we created, which was a multiple choice question. So now on the student side, which is also up on the smartboard, it says how many continents are there? Hopefully they choose B because the answer is right on the slide. I like the multiple choice questions. It's a quick way to see how students are doing. On the teacher side, on my Chromebook, I can see that I have one student that picked option B. If I had 14 students who picked option B, one student who picked option A, that would give me the idea to go over to that student and have a talk, or just as I'm discussing it on the board, if I see that that student has not changed their answer, then I would have that conversation with that student. The next question we created, let's go to here, says what color is the continent Africa? I will type yellow and show you on the teacher side. You'll see that I typed yellow. You'd be able to go through all of the student answers here. You'd be able to quickly scan. Here you can see I have it in a list view. If you click here, you could see it. You could see the names all the way across, more of a grid view there. So here, you can also make comments by clicking on this little circle. But in order for your students to see your comment, you're going to have to, after you end the session, you're going to have to export the student notes. So I tend not to leave feedback. That probably would be more for if you were going to have it as a student paced activity. But since this is teacher paced, I'm not going to do that here. Okay, let me go to the next one. So the next question on the smartboard and on the student screen would say how many continents are there. If I type the number 7, and now I want to see on my Chromebook what that would look like, you'll see I have a dot here that says 7. You'll kind of get a general idea of if you have the little red dots anywhere on either side, that would create your discussion. And on the last slide, it says, find out more about Africa here. Now the students can click on the video, and it's kind of nice. It's right there for them. All right, so we've gone through each of the slides. Let me show you what I do when we are all done. When we are all done, on my Chromebook, hit the back arrow. All right, you'll notice that it brings me back to all of my sessions. Here's where you have two options. So no matter what, you don't want to leave your status on live because then the students, if they're in their Google Classroom, let's say the parents say, oh, show me what you did today, and then they open up this activity, they won't be able to maneuver to different slides because you're still stuck on that last slide that we did. In order to change it so that they can progress backwards and forward in the slideshow, you would have to go to Turn on Student Paste. And so as you can see, this is what I like to do. I like to have it on Student Paste. Now, if you prefer to close the activity altogether so students can't see it, what you would do is you would click on the three dots, go to End Session, and now if you have made comments on student slides that you would like for them to be able to see, what you do is you click on Reflect and Review, and it will give you a link here. You can copy the link, post it into the Google Classroom. When students click on that link, only their notes will show up from today's lesson. It will be in a PDF format, and they will see your comments there. I don't tend to like the way the PDF looks. That's why I prefer to keep mine as, let me open it back up. I like to turn on Student Paste. I just think it's, I don't know, I like the format better of how it looks on the screen so that they can go forward and backwards. So those will now act as their live notes. All right, if you have any questions at all on how to do this, please feel free to email me. I am here for you. Have a great day.